How are you?
Good. How are you?
Hanging in there. It's kind of a terrible, terrible week, but
Yeah.
if there's honestly, lately, what hasn't been?
Yeah.
So, how you hanging in?
I'm good. I'm good. Just trying to stay safe.
Yeah, well, that's apparently a really difficult thing to do in this country. But
Yeah.
how's everything been going today so far? Have you been whatever you call it, a room person
Yeah. I've
for?
I've been a session keeper.
Oh, so that's what it's called. Yeah. So can you make me a co-host because then I can share my screen or
I'm gonna do all participants can share because I was struggling to do that before.
okay.
So I think you should be able to share now. Let me know if you can.
All right, let me see if I open. Yeah, it says share screen. Well, let me try actually. Yep, it'll let me.
All right.
So that's good. Can you hear me fine?
Yeah. Here you go.
Oh, I know it's like I had no energy all week, and I mean this type of thing is great normally to do, but I was just like I felt like I needed the break from work.
Yeah.
But what can you do? Let me go back to this.
These days really flew by with the online school and everything.
I know it's crazy. I can't even imagine what that was like for you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, working from home has been surreal enough,
Yeah. And
but
it's definitely been a change that I haven't really gotten used to.
yeah. Well, thank you for doing this. It's nice of you.
Mhm.
Uh, Can you see the waiting room? I don't. I can't see it.
I can. There's no one's in it yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm assuming that. I don't know how tight it's been, and I also have no idea how many people are going to show up to this. Maybe because Rashad was in one and Adia was in another. People who saw their sessions might be interested in coming to this, but I have no clue. I have no clue what to expect in terms of you know interest or participation. We'll see. We did one of these for kindergarten with Parents League, and we had a lot of people for that, and it went pretty well. So we'll see.
I'm gonna disable the wait room around like 4:33 just so everyone can join.
Yeah, no problem. I know we have 40 minutes. I mean, I guess I have a little under 9-minute video that I'll show. I mean, I could not talk for 20 minutes, so I have like a little under 9-minute video to show, then a couple of real quick slides to run through. So I'm hoping we'll have a good 15 minutes for just people to ask questions if they have questions.
Mhm.
Oh. I've been refusing mostly to appear on work Zooms. It's just, like it's hard enough having my house be my workplace now, and it's just, I just need the boundary, and so being on video all the time just makes me feel like I have no boundaries. So
Yeah.
that's also why I always use the background too. It's just like, normally I'm very selective about who I invite into my home, and so I'm just not like having everybody. So it's like,
Uh, People are joining now, so I'm gonna
okay,
invite.
great, thank you.
Um, I'm ready to get started whenever you are.
All right. How many people are in, do you think?
There's two others right now.
All right. So we can start. I know Gita says she's going to record this anyway. So.
All right. So my name is Elijah. I'm an upcoming junior at Ethical Culture Fieldston School, and this is the school fair, and I'm gonna let it go for the speaker.
Thanks a lot, Elijah. I'm Charles Guerrero. I'm the Director of Admissions, Financial Aid, and Institutional Research at ECFS. I'm a graduate from class of 1989. I started actually in seventh grade. Back then, our lower divisions ended at sixth and then the upper school started in seventh. Now we have a distinct middle school. I've been in this role for almost 3 years now. But previous to this, I was on our board of trustees for about 8 years. And then previous to working here, I worked at a program called Prep for Prep, which is actually how I came to Fieldston way back in 1984, whenever it was I started, so 83. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming and being part of our presentation. I think I'm going to try to leave as much time for questions as possible. But if you have questions, please write them in the chat. Elijah and I will go through the chat and address every question that appears there. And that way we can answer them in order, and then everyone will have an opportunity to actually get their question answered. I'm going to first start by showing you a short video about the school. It's actually a little bit weighted. This video is weighted a little bit heavier toward our lower divisions, but it also touches on our middle and upper divisions. And then when I do a little bit of the quote unquote campus tour, and this is campus behind me. I'm actually in my house, but this is campus behind me. We'll touch a little bit more on the middle and upper school experience. And then, like I said, I'll just open it up to questions. So once again, thank you all for being here. And I'm going to start with actually showing video.
Getting kids to be able to see, what they may be studying in action and how they can actually influence and make change and partner with others to do so, that gives you a whole new perspective on yourself. And I think that's at the heart of what we're really trying to do.
Welcome to Ethical Culture.
So our founder, Felix Adler, had this vision for a school in 1878 that not only would have great academics, but it would also produce children who could go out into the world and change it in accordance with ethical ideas. We're talking about how we help people, whether in our community, our direct community, it starts off in the school, and then we widen that to the local neighborhood organizations, the city, the country, even people in our world.
So when we think about service learning, we really want to connect those experiential opportunities, those moments where children are taking action, to be connected to what they're already learning about in the classroom. And that happens on every grade level. So from pre-K all the way to 5th grade, we really looked closely at what are the children at that grade level learning about already, and what is an opportunity that we can give them to see themselves as a change agent within that area of study.
We do an in-depth study of homelessness. We read many picture books that touch on those subjects. We meet many characters. It never misses a year when a second grader says, after we read all these picture books and all these characters, but wait, it's not really just a story. I walk out of my building, and this is my experience. I get onto the subway, and this is the person I meet. I go and buy something at the store, and there is this man that I see every day. And they go on and on and on. And so they get to really ask themselves about their experience and asking how they can help and what their role is in the life of this person that they've never met but suddenly feel a connection to.
So ethics is the foundation of everything we do at the school. And then service is the actual doing of the ethics. In a lot of schools, you talk about issues in the world. At this school, we then say, so what can we do? It's really important to us that we teach children that when they see injustice, or when they see things that are wrong, that we encourage them to be what we call an upstander rather than a bystander.
I love the moments where the students can kind of close the book and recognize that whatever we're reading, whether it's in social studies or in a reading lesson, can apply to real life. I had a moment last year where after we had studied the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s, where a student just raised her hand and said, I just want people to know this is not something in history, it's going on today too. And then I had so many students who were able to share their perspectives and listen to each other.
Welcome to Fieldston Lower! Bienvenidos a Fieldston Lower! Welcome to Fieldston Lower! Welcome to Fieldston Lower!
At Fieldston Lower, we want our students to understand their learning style, that they can reflect on what their challenges are as a learner, what their strengths are as a learner, that they understand the importance of collaboration with others, that learning is not something you do in isolation or by yourself, it's something you do in a community.
One of the things I love about teaching is to see their own ideas and their creativity come to the forefront. That's exactly what happened with the submarine. So they kind of question, and again, there's that questioning, Monique, how do we really know a Dumbo octopus exists if, you know, scuba divers can't go that low? And then Kyler said, submersibles. And Chase said, I want to design my own submarine.
There's a lot of opportunities for the kids to take on projects or create projects. Throughout the year, you'll see posters of things that they've decided they wanted to tackle, whether it's pollution or it's saving the animals or whatever it may be. A lot of times they come up with these things on their own. Some are offshoots from things that they're learning in their curriculum, but there's a lot of room for that.
I feel very lucky that I'm in a school where I'm the student, like on a regular basis. And I have all of these wonderful teachers, as young as pre-K and as old as 10 years old, who guide me through my journey.
At Fieldston Lower, it's really important to us to have our students learn through doing every day. You see that in our Adler Lab. They get to go in this newly renovated space every day and work with their hands, collaborate with their peers, and really create things that come from their own ideas.
I think one of the biggest things I hope that the students walk away from Fieldston Lower with is an understanding of themselves as critical thinkers, especially through things like learning by doing. The hope is that they realize that when faced with the problem, they have a whole set of strategies at their disposal. Whether or not they have an immediate answer, they can really dig into the process and feel capable of taking on bigger questions or things that at first might feel intimidating.
There are lots of concepts that they'll get here at the lower school, vocabulary, big ideas, small ideas. And if they forget all of those things, but remember that they are a valuable member of our community and important to us as a community, I think that will serve them really well.
Ethical Culture Fieldston School is a school that cares about what kinds of human beings and citizens our children are going to be.
Fieldston Middle School is a place where we want kids to really feel ownership of the space, but also as they move through, 6th, 7th, and 8th, they actually start to take on some responsibility for their learning.
These are also the skills that stay with them throughout their entire educational career. So the skills that they're learning now are things that they'll carry through high school, college, and beyond.
developmentally, there's so much going on for these students. And so it's really important to be able to view them as in terms of the whole child and not paying attention to a huge part of that, which is the social and emotional piece, would be really neglecting a huge part of what's happening in their lives.
What excites me every day is just being here in the midst of the students, their energy, their passion for being students at Fieldston, which I haven't seen at another school, and the kids really love it.
Cultivating a sense of empathy is absolutely critical to our community.
We're all teachers in a way. I know I've been taught compassion by a lot of students here.
I've been heartened to see that sort of similar levels of engagement and passion in both academic life and co-curricular life. So whether it's in robotics, whether it's in Model UN, whether it's on stage, the level of engagement it's stunning.
I feel like everybody can find like a home here at Fieldston, and that no matter how you identify, there are people who celebrate your identity, all your different intersections of your identity.
So I should have said at the beginning, we have several entry points into the school. We have pre-K, K, and pre-K and kindergarten. Those are both for our 2 lower divisions, as you saw in the video, Ethical Culture, which is located on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, 64th and Central Park West, and Fieldston Lower, which is on our Bronx campus, which is in Riverdale. Fieldston Middle, which is entry point is 6th grade, and Fieldston Upper entry point is 9th grade. All of those entry points are come through my office, and I'll go through the application process a little bit in a second. And then whenever you come into the school, you move up automatically. There's no, reapplication from 5th grade to 6th grade or 8th grade to 9th grade. Once you're admitted in, assuming that you stay in good standing in school, you just move all the way through graduation. So that's just a brief overview of the school. I'll take you through a little bit really quickly through a short slide presentation, and then I'll just open it up for questions after that. So let me just go. You would think I'd be really good at this by now. So welcome. So everyone probably is used to this by now. Mute your audio, turn off your video, ask questions in the chat. Skip through that. So a little bit about our program. We are a progressive school. We view our tenets of progressive education are these. Education is ethical, challenging, relevant, playful, inclusive, responsive, empowering, experiential, healthy, and interdependent. And these tenets are woven throughout our curriculum and our student-facing experiences from pre-K through 12th grade. They manifest themselves in a number of ways throughout that time. So I wanted to take you through a little bit of our campus. This is our Bronx campus, mostly the high school and the middle school, but you can see Fieldston Lower down here, Fieldston Middle School here, but the middle school shares a number of spaces with the upper school, including the athletic facilities and our library. Here are our fields. I'm going to take you a little bit through there. This is the quad, which is also in the background. You saw my background, which is the heart of the campus. Our library is up here in this shot. that's our library. Our library, every division, both lower divisions have their own library, and the middle and upper schools share this library. This library houses one of my favorite places on campus. It houses a little over 30,000 volumes, but also has a lot of spaces for students to work. Our arts facilities, we have visual arts here, performing arts on campus. So visual arts, we have things like sculpture, painting, drawing, woodshop, photography, performing arts, dance, theater, technical theater, music. And this is our electronic music classroom. Athletics, we have 40 athletic teams for both girls and boys. We have 2 fields, gyms, 2 gyms, a great pool area. Here's our training gym. In academics, this is our new design studio where we have computer assisted design, engineering, things like that happen there. This is our student commons, which is used predominantly like you see it now for students to hang out in. I mean, obviously next year might be a little bit different. Our dining room, here it's set up for a special parent event. A little bit about the admissions process, then I'll open it up for questions. So this is specifically for middle and upper. For the lower divisions, it's roughly the same. I'll tell you the differences. So we have an online application. You have to do a campus visit and interview, both parents and students. The only difference for the lower divisions is that instead of an interview, the children come in for a play group. And some of these things will be different next year. We're working on, obviously how those things will be different. When our application goes live, we will update our website to reflect some of these changes. School reports we will get from every school. Transcripts we'll only get for middle and upper school. So here you'll see some of the difference. We also need letters of recommendation for middle and upper, as well as IC SSAT scores. There have been some challenges with taking IC and SSAT scores in person. If those aren't worked out by the fall, or actually by the end of the summer, we'll revisit our requirement there. Here's a little bit of the application timeline. Obviously, this will all be subject to change, but as of now, we think this is correct. The end of August, our application will go live. You can register for information sessions for the fall there. November 1st is our tentative online application deadline for this year. Our application is actually very simple. It's just really demographic information and 2 questions. For parents, there is no student piece of our application. Fall and early winters when you'll do the visits, play groups, and interviews. December 1st is our financial aid application deadline. And we do, financial aid is an important part of our application process. This year, we dedicated over $16 million in financial aid. So we encourage, if you think you need financial aid, apply. The financial aid process is separate from the admissions process for the most part, although at the end of, we will consider and make an admissions decision without knowing whether or not you need financial aid.
Sorry to interrupt, there's 20 minutes left.
Okay, I'm almost, I'll be finished with this and then we'll ask questions. So January 8th, we'll get all the information from schools and then decisions come out at the end of that. So yeah, we'll take questions and right now. So Ledger, do you have questions?
Yes, there's one question so far. With the full admissions process for a year, 2021/22 will be held virtually as a result of COVID, I guess. And then the play group interview for kindergarten at Fieldston Lower.
Yeah, so I believe the way we're looking at it now is that I'm almost 100% positive that even if we start school on campus next year, it will be a challenge to have the amount of outside visitors that we would typically have for the admissions process um, on campus. So we're testing actually right now with some late applications for like second grade and first grade, a virtual process for our that we'll use for kindergarten and pre-K. I think kindergarten will be a little bit clearer than pre-K will be. I mean, the children for pre-K are so young. We're really thinking thoughtfully about what we might do instead. But for the kindergarten piece, I do think we'll have a virtual 20-minute sort of meeting with them individually. So we're testing that right now and seeing how that works out. We're also talking with other schools who are in a similar situation that we are, some of our peer schools, to see if there's maybe some things, a system that we can come up and work with together. But I'm 100% sure it will be something virtual, so it won't be typical to what we've done in the past. Hopefully that answers the question.
Next question is, historically, how many seats are open for new incoming ninth graders, or how many applicants per available seat for the upper school?
So for ninth grade, there are typically we're looking to bring in around 30-ish new students every year. And then of course, ninth grade is one of our biggest applicant pools every year. It's one of, we have, this past year, we had, I want to say 900 or so applicants for those 30 spots. So it is very competitive. To give you a little bit of a sense of how our admissions process works generally, we have a committee that is comprised with faculty, administration, and admissions staff from each division. So for the upper school, our principals all sit on the admissions committees. Our assistant principals sit on the admissions committees. Our diversity, equity, and inclusion coordinators sit on our admissions committees. And then we have usually someone from our health and wellness department, as well as faculty members. And then, of course, my staff, the admissions team. And then we look at all the information that comes in and then discuss every applicant multiple times, actually, throughout the process before the committee then makes the decisions. And as I said, there's no one who sits on the admissions committee that also sits on the financial aid committee. So at middle school, I might as well just say we're looking for about 25 new students. And at kindergarten, for ethical culture, we're looking for about 35, 36. And then for Fieldston Lower, about 18.
There's no other questions.
But then what I will do is I'll show you a couple of other things I'll share a couple of other things in the meantime. Oh, here's one. Is there a bus? You can ask them in order, Elijah. I saw some popping up. So.
Yeah. If a child with an end of summer birthday is taking an additional year of preschool, would they apply for kindergarten or first grade?
So if they've taken an extra year of preschool, what we would do, we would have them apply for the grade that they would be going to if it's an end of summer birthday. But what we would do is we would have a conversation with you about whether, once we saw them, about whether or not we thought, depending on their birthday, if we thought they should maybe then look at kindergarten or at, for the year earlier, if we thought that made sense. So we would look at it on a case-by-case basis, always, and we'll let you know when you submit the application, and then after they come in for their visit. But we typically really want to have them go to the grade they're supposed, the next grade that they're supposed to go to. Although they have to be a certain age, to come into our grade.
The next question is there bus transport from New Jersey, specifically Hudson County area?
We typically have had bus transportation from New Jersey, specifically from Hudson. Will depend on other families who are coming from there. But what I would say, we have had people come from northern New Jersey every year. I mean, that was the case when I went to school there, and it's the case now. So I suspect it won't be an issue, but not without knowing, I don't have where the bus routes went last year, and not knowing exactly where you live, I can't answer that, but it has not been an issue for our New Jersey families up to this year.
Yeah, nothing else has popped up, so I don't know if you want to go.
All right, yeah, so then I will just show a couple of other things. Go back to this. See if there's. So yeah, I just wanted to show this. You can follow us on Instagram. The school constantly is updating with sort of, over the past couple of months, obviously it's been highlighting things that our students and our families have been doing, in terms of remote learning, our faculty have been doing in terms of remote learning. So that's a good place to just get sort of more slice of life views into the life of the school there. You can email us if you have any questions at admissions@ecfs.org. Our website is ecfs.org. So you can go there, and I'll show you, I'll switch my screen. Oh, actually I have to go back here. Click out of this. There we go. When you come to our website, one thing I did want to point out, actually I'll start here. When you come to our website, ecfs.org, you go up to our search tab. If you go to admission, how to apply, admissions process, important dates and policies, you go here. We're actually already here. The one thing I did want to point out is if you're interested, you can come to one of our spring virtual visits. We have some left. We actually have one left for each division. This Tuesday for Fieldston Lower at 4 to 5. This Tuesday from 10 to 11 for ethical culture. And you can see what it's for here. For Fieldston Middle and Upper, this Tuesday from 2 to 3. And on Wednesday for high school from 9 to 10 a.m. If you can't make one of these, we will have some more in the fall. But if you can make it, you can come to our website, click on these links here, sign up for the spring tour. What's great about these is that for the middle and upper school, you'll have the ability to speak with students. Students will be on hand to answer the questions. And then for the lower division ones, we'll have parents actually there so that you can ask questions not only of the admission staff, but of parents and students as well. So these are valuable, and we do have one date available for each. So I just wanted to let you all know that as well.
Also, someone just asked a question. Can you elaborate more on what a progressive curriculum looks like for upper school?
Yeah. Oh, so for upper school. So, I mean, Elijah, this is a question you actually could potentially answer as well. For me, one of the most incredible things, and the reason I have remained so close to this school and was excited to come back to work here, was just the sheer breadth of offerings in the upper school, the choices that you could make, the sort of collaborative, discussion-based nature of all the courses and classes, the hands-on nature of the courses that were offered in the upper school. And not only in the academic subjects, you saw things like, and I didn't, when you come to a spring tour or a fall information session, we really get into more specifically what the curriculum really looks like. But in every space, right, the class, the curriculum in the class, the direction of the class is often shaped by student interest. Their questions, their insights really drive our education. What you can't see here, and if you were to come to school, we're going to get a version of this online. Our course catalog for the upper school is massive. The choice students can make and the things that they can pick from is really, really, really incredible. And that's across all disciplines. Ethics is an incredibly important part of our curriculum, not only sort of as a academic class, but there are service-oriented classes that are in our ethics department. Arts are an incredibly important and required part of our curriculum. So we're really looking at students holistically as well. So Elijah, I don't know if there's anything you want to answer, but I would also recommend that if you can come to that, the high school information session on Wednesday, that you do it if you really want to get a deep dive, because on the slide that I showed that showed each of those tenets of progressive education, they actually will go through all 10 and talk about how they manifest themselves, how those things manifest themselves in our curriculum in the upper school in incredible detail. We're also we're in the process, of course, given how everything's going to be virtual, of adding specific content for the summer around our curriculum so that you can come, since people won't really be able to be on campus in the way that we've had them in the past to learn these things. So we're going to have more detailed curriculum pieces probably right after the July 4th weekend on our website, so that families can come and learn, take the time over the summer to learn about what we're doing in the classroom, so that when they come to our virtual events in the fall, they'll have a sense of who we are as well. So I'm sorry, I could probably spend 20 minutes just on that, but that's just a very high level overview. Any other question? And there was a couple of other things I wanted to quickly show then until we get more questions. How much time do we have?
7 minutes, 6
7
minutes.
minutes? Yeah, great. That won't take that long. So coming back here, I wanted to also show a little bit about some of our student demographics. This is something that, so one of the things that we do, we maintain this dashboard. This will be updated this summer with our current school demographics. I wanted you all to see this as well. And this link is all currently enrolled families and students have access to this. So when we update it, you can see, you can highlight over it, and it tells you by division what the percentage of white, students of color, and did not report. All of our demographic data, of course, is self-reported. That's the best way to do it. So you can see this here. Overall, and I'll come here so you can see this, 37% of the students identify as people of color, 46% identify as white, and 17 did not report. Here you see, this is right on our website and our frequently asked questions, so you can go and see this, but I wanted to point it out. 33% of our faculty and staff identify as people of color, 68% identify as white, 7% did not report. So I just wanted to show you some of that as well. One of the things that I also wanted to say until we get another question is that, as you can probably imagine, the past few weeks, this week in particular, has been incredibly challenging for all of us who identify as people of color, but specifically for our faculty and staff of color who identify as Black on campus. This week, our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department has sent out, or last week and this week, not only resources, our head of school just sent out a list of resources, both for families of color and for our white families, around what has been going on in our communities, but also we've set up spaces for not only students and their families, but for faculty and staff this week to sort of come together both in affinity spaces and in support spaces, but then also in larger spaces beyond that. You know, I felt it. So many of my colleagues have felt it. I just wanted to also mention that because this has been a very tough week. So, any other questions that I can answer? All right, so then someone's calling my house, of course. I never get calls at home, but of course I'm presenting, someone calls.
I guess.
College process. So I'll quickly address that. I actually will show this as well. So yeah, our college process starts in junior year, really. Here we go. Here's a list of on our website. You can see where students go to college. So you can just type in college destinations. This will come up. But we have our college office is really based on fit and match more than anything else. So you'll meet with a college counselor. Every student gets their own college counselor, and you meet with them. They're really available to you. Our college office hosts a college fair. They have workshops on how to not only fill out your college, you know, applying to college, but also the financial aid process. So it's a pretty comprehensive process, and it's a great office, I think. So we're actually we have a new director of college of our college office. Jamil, he's not new to the school, but our former director is retiring this year, and so he's taking her place, and he's terrific. So, yeah, I think I really just want to thank you all in the last 2 minutes that we have for your questions, and also really thank you all for being here as part of this event today. I mean, I think it's really, really important that you all learn about this process and just get as much information as you can and as much, you know, and just think through all of your options. And, you know, independent school, it can be, it can be challenging, but it can also be really, really rewarding. And events like this and communities like this can really help if you decide to apply your son or daughter to independent school, really make the difference.
Yeah, I could speak for a little bit. There's 1 minute left, but someone just asked if I could speak of my experience.
Yeah, go ahead and finish.
Yeah, so I've been at Fieldston since I was in kindergarten, and I feel like it's like I fit in like perfectly. Like they're willing to accommodate for times when maybe I wasn't struggling in a certain subject. They're the teachers are really willing to meet with me, do like, and like they want what's for the best for you. They want they're there for you, like the college process, all of that. They're really caring for their students. I think I've loved the school every second of it. It's just a great experience to go through all, and I've been there for like 11 years, something like that, and I don't regret like any moment of it. Everything has just been great with the school. And I'm gonna wrap it up because it is now 5:10. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your time.
Thank you.